Welcome aspiring data scientists and welcome future Python programmers. Today we don't have any looks anymore at lists. Now we change to a new subject, and this is functions and methods in Python. The learning goals for this part are, first of all, an understanding of functions and how we can apply them. After that, how we can use the help function to help ourselves. And in the end, some use cases or examples so that we learn a couple of more functions. After that, we do the same exact concept for methods in Python and also use cases and examples. In the end, though, we have a little recap between the difference of functions and methods, because at least for me, these are quite confusing sometimes. Key topics of today is an understanding for functions in Python, how we can use the help function, and different use cases. So, functions we have learned so far. Hopefully you still remember, or you already know, the type, list, and print functions. We all know what they do and the purpose of them. If we now look at the list of our reserved words in Python, maybe you can also remember that table, we can see that we already know the del function. Let's go to the definition. A function is a piece of predefined reusable code for a certain task. So that basically means that every time we write type or del or list or print, Python always knows what to do. We don't have to define anything, we don't have to code anything, all of that is predefined. So that basically means all these codes are always reusable and you cannot change them by yourself. On the other side, and we will get to that later, you can also create your own functions. These can vary, but creating your own functions makes it possible for you to create a function or a certain line of code and reuse it later again. So in short, functions are predefined, they always do the same task, and you have to know what these tasks are if you want to work with Python. Now let's have a small example with the max and min function. Maybe you can still remember them from Excel. The max function gives you the highest value in a range, and the min function provides you with the lowest value in a range. So here in our example, we have our list weights, and we stored 4 different elements in that list. Then we apply the min function one time to weights, and we apply the max function one time to weights. Each result we store accordingly in a new variable. Here the met weight and here the max weight. Now if we print out this new variable, we get, okay, 12 is the lowest value within the list and 90 is the highest value within that list. And if we look at the list, that seems quite correct. So why did I put red boxes here? Because I did a mistake. I didn't use descriptive naming for our variable. If we search already for the smallest value or the min value in an element, I can also just call my list min weight. That makes it much easier for me and for other people to understand my code. Because if I would have a medium weight also now, I would probably, it would be probably too difficult for me to separate the max and min variable, and maybe in the end I will get a different or wrong result. So always use descriptive names for your variables. Now let's have a look at the len and sum function. Overall, we want to get the average of our weights list. So for that, we need 2 different things. First, we need the number of total elements in the list, and after that, we have to sum up those elements. Then we can divide the total by the amount of numbers to get our average. So very basic maths, and we can apply that through the len and sum function in Python. So first, the len function counts the elements within a list. After that, we apply the sum function to weights to get the total of all those elements added together. And then in the end, we can just divide our 2 newly created variables to get our new variable, which is average. And the average would be for weights, in this case, 57. So that's another way how you just can apply very basic functions to lists. Now, using the help functions. Of course, we cannot teach you all the functions, and even I don't know all of the functions and how they work. But if you would like to look it up, you can just apply the help functions to whatever function you want. Then you will get this maybe complicating overview here, but you will get more used to it later. So we could say that the first part here is the Python language, the blue box, and the second part, the green part, is the human language. And now, because we had the weights, our list had 4 different elements, we have to check what applies to our situation. And now if we look at the red box, we can see here, okay, with 2 or more arguments, return the smallest argument. We had 4 arguments in the list, so it returns the smallest argument. So in the beginning, maybe try to read more the human language part. And if you get the deeper understanding of Python, the blue box will become very helpful for you as well. Now, in the end, it's not easy to find all these different functions, but as always, we are standing on the shoulders of giants in Python. Many different problems were already solved in Python. So for many different problems which you have in the course now, you can just go to Google and look up certain ways to solve the problem. We did this, for example, to get the average. And if you just really search for average and Python, you get already the result below with a written example and a coding example. And then you're good to go to try it out yourself. If you want to have a deeper look at the functions, though, you should go to the documentation of Python and then to the Python standard library and the built-in functions. Because there, as you can see here in the little screen, you have all different functions explained and their use cases. This can become quite handy and useful later on. Finished. Well done. Congratulations. You have finished another course of the Introduction to Python online course, and we are looking forward to see you in the next video. Goodbye.